Welcome to the Bryan Insights Extraordinary Organization video series. In this video, we examine the 7 pitfalls that sabotage HR transformation projects before they even begin. I'm Dr. Tomi White Bryan. It's my privilege to be with you in this video. I'm the creator of the Emotional Intelligence 3.0 body of work, a system for achieving extraordinary performance. It includes blueprints, models, assessments, and guides filled with activities that free the extraordinary within individuals, teams, leaders, and organizations. My videos are for HR professionals who are genuinely interested in transforming HR from people operations to people strategy, want to be the architects of an extraordinary culture, and have the authority and the budget to make it happen. That last one's really important because if you don't have those things, it might just be a wish to transform culture. And the thing is, you can't phone in extraordinary. You got to have the map, the blueprint, the expertise, the right guide, the right tools, and the right data. At Bryan Insights, we've got those. Let's dive into the data. Let's start with the fact that about 70% of transformation projects fail. Now, that stat's been pretty constant despite all our change management approaches and philosophies and efforts. Just further evidence that what we're doing is not working. We have to change the way we're approaching transformation in order to gain the last bit of opportunity and leverage out of it that we can. To compound the challenge, McKinsey surveys show that even successful transformations still leave significant value on the table. Most leaders are flying blind with unreliable data and using approaches that statistically don't work. So let's talk about my journey for a second. So this is me looking for a roadmap of extraordinary performance. I've worked in-house as an executive vice president and general counsel for a $50 million a year family business and as the director of global talent development for a Fortune 1000 apparel company. In between those two corporate gigs, I consulted mostly with Fortune 500 companies. And here's what I saw. They could get the money and profit right, but they usually couldn't get the people right. And one without the other, well, that rarely leads to the extraordinary. Both times I went in-house, I was so excited. I was like, oh yeah, I can spend the next 20 years of my career here. And then as I got into the inner workings of the organization, it was like, nope, no, I can't. And that's because in most of these organizations, whether I was consulting or working in them, people were a commodity, not an asset. And the only way we change that is to move HR from people operations to people strategy. I joke that my search for a blueprint for extraordinary performance was like 20 years in the desert. Those companies I worked for and with all had the same challenges, people. To unravel these challenges, I got a PhD in leadership and organizational change, even though I already had a law degree from Wake Forest University. And that's because I'm a lifelong learner, and so anytime I was searching for answers, I would just dig into whatever was available. I obtained numerous certifications. I went to a lot of workshops. I read a lot of books, and I couldn't find the blueprint, so I built it myself. And once I built that blueprint, I still wasn't satisfied. I conducted 5 years worth of research that revealed that extraordinary organizational performance has a bullseye. The purpose-led, values-based culture of trust. That organizational structure outperforms other types. The blueprint that emerged from my research revealed missteps that make the transformation to extraordinary performance elusive. And there are 7 of them, and they fall into 3 buckets: strategy and planning issues, issue identification, and data and solution issues. Let's look at them. So the first pitfall falls into the strategy and planning issues. It's implementing a fad or the change project du jour. You know the ones. They make your employees groan. Everyone is doing it, so we got to do it too. And when I say that, I can hear my mother saying, and if little Susie down the street jumped off a cliff, would you do that too, Tommy? And if you're doing this, you might want to reconsider your strategy. So now let's look at pitfall number 2, strategy and planning issue as well. It's stitching people data together from different sources without an understanding of how it all fits. If you do that, you can end up with conflicting signals, and which one do you listen to? The third pitfall is also a strategy and planning issue. It occurs when we're unable to justify our spend with a clear ROI. That means at the very beginning, in our strategy building for the transformation, we probably didn't understand outcomes, how to measure those, or what metrics we wanted to wind up with. And so what happens is you can't defend the investment when budget time comes around. So let's turn to pitfall number 4, which is in the issue identification bucket. And it's about, are you responding to the noise or the root cause? Because if we're responding to the noise instead of the root cause, you're probably really just responding to the loudest complaint instead of solving the real problem. We see this a lot with employee engagement. Low employee engagement numbers is a signal of a deeper problem, yet organizations keep trying to solve the engagement challenges by throwing reward programs or whatever the program du jour is for employee engagement. That's not going to solve the challenge because that's the noise and not the root cause. Let's look at pitfall number 5, which also falls into the bucket of issue identification. It's skipping employee input in strategy development. Are you missing the chance to incorporate employee ideas from cultural assessments? If you don't do that, you end up fighting resistance instead of building momentum. If they tell you what's wrong and you want to fix it and you genuinely embrace their feedback and build your strategy around that, employees are likely to be on board more and trust the organization more. Our pitfall number 6 moves into the data and solution issues bucket. And it's really about cobbling together change initiatives without a roadmap or master plan. And when we do that, it's really just another disconnected project that leads to frustration. It's really simple. If you don't know where you're going, it's really difficult to get there. So the roadmap or master plan for the organization's culture and performance is essential. All right, pitfall number 7, the last one, also falls into the data and solution issues, and it's guessing your solution is right without trusted data to support it. Here's what we know about that. Speculation doesn't often end well. And that actually, when we do these 7 things, it leads to a substantial hit to HR in several ways. We're seen as solving the wrong problems. We lose credibility and trust. We waste valuable resources. We face resistance from stakeholders. And it's a missed opportunity for continuous improvement. And it's why 75% of those organizational transformations fail. So what's the solution? The underpinning is reliable data. Right? Reliable data as a compass, ensuring that transformation efforts are focused, effective, and aligned with the real needs of the organization. Speculation alone leaves organizations vulnerable to costly missteps, right? We just talked about 7 of those pitfalls. In short, sustainable transformation is built on data, not guesswork. All right, this is all great. This is all fine and dandy, but what can you do next? Well, you can watch the video, the next in our series on determining the data to collect. You can take the Power Style Inventory for free. That's one of our assessments. You can see the insights and data that are revealed by it, and it's the data that makes a difference in shaping the solution. You can also download the pre-project checklist. We've taken these 7 pitfalls and turned them into action items, and the link for these things are in the comments, so be sure to do that because it will certainly help you shape your next big business transformation. That wraps up this video. Until next time, take care.